The Asus ROG 3 is a great smartphone. It checks all the boxes of what we know as a great smartphone. But the question is, who this phone is actually for, and is it worth it to buy it over a flagship phone that might perform the same as ROG 3 in gaming? Let's answer that in today's video. Talking about the spec sheet, this phone is an absolute beast on paper. It is the fastest phone and it uses a 144Hz AMOLED panel, a Snapdragon 865 Plus with 16 gigs of RAM, half a terabyte of storage, 64 megapixel main sensor for the camera, a 6000 mAh of battery cell with a 30 watt fast charger inside the box. On paper, this is the greatest phone that you can get. But what matters is who should buy this phone? I mean, if you buy an iPhone 11 Pro Max, you would get the same experience on the gaming front on most games because there are not too many games which support the full 120Hz, 90Hz or even the 144Hz resolution and frame rate. They all support 60 FPS indeed, so it would be a lot better on the iPhone. And it also got a better software. I'm not talking about the iOS versus Android. I'm just talking about in general it will be having a better software experience because of the Asus having a gaming sort of skin, and it would be a much better overall phone. And the latest iOS updates are also a big part in it. The games are very well optimized and the battery life on the iPhone is great. Now, who should really buy this phone is actually the competitive players. Now, what actually are the competitive players? The players who play for prize money and they compete in an online scenario against other competitive players should really get this phone. And talking about the esports industry, it's a really large and huge industry and a market where most of the sponsors spend their money on. So ROG 3 phone could be really great in that scenario for people who are playing big titles like the PUBG Mobile or Call of Duty Mobile in an esports scenario for hours of gaming, and the 6000 mAh of battery, for example, could be a really good thing there. 16 gigs of RAM would prove beneficial in such a scenario. And who knows what, the cooling thermal pads might be a big lead in terms of gaming for so long. And the competitive scenario, you also are depending upon a lot of other things which are in this phone. For example, you get the 240Hz of touch latency and 1 ms latency in terms of display. So in competitive, you need absolute best. But if you're a general gamer, you just play games like PUBG Mobile on general and you play other games as well in general, a flagship phone would be better for you because you would get better cameras, better display. I mean, not in terms of frames per second, but in terms of better content consumption, HDR, and etc. So this one is absolutely not for general gamers, but it is for the hardcore gamers who are into the competitive scenario and would like to have a really better phone in terms of all the things that you want. I mean, it has a GPU and CPU control. It has a cooling fan inside of it, and you can also control that from the app within. You can also keep the longevity of the battery well because there are many options in the phone by which you can limit the battery to charge up to a certain percentage and not go over it. You can limit your current of the charger to like 10 watts, and it is actually a pretty good thing to have. So the answer to the question is that if you're going for general games, you would be better off with a general flagship. But if you're actually going for the full hardcore gaming experience, playing in a competitive scenario, and you are a streamer, then yes, this phone will be very beneficial for you. I mean, who knows what the future games might look like, and it will easily be really great experience on this phone for games that are very hardcore. So that was the answer to the question, and this is obviously not a review of the phone because the specs of this phone speak for themselves, and I don't need to explain further that what the each component of the phone is like because they are the absolute best in the market. So that is there. This is the Reza Sun, and I'm signing out. Peace out.